Bradley, open the door. Act like you haven't seen me in ages.
God, where have you been all my life?
Right? We do the, hold on. So, I say to you, how you been?
Yeah.
How you been?
One day at a
No,
time.
you react at this point. So we scripted this. There's a plan here. How you been?
Taking it one day at a time, Tim.
That's good. That's good. How's production?
Not bad.
What do you make?
Well, mostly hopes and dreams.
Do you make Kina Tonic?
I do. This one right
Is it
here.
good Kina Tonic?
It's the best you can get.
If there wasn't a camera that was watching us right now, what would you do and say? Don't kiss me.
Probably the same shit. Get inside.
We're talking about Kina Tonic and how you make a gin and tonic in the old-fashioned way.
I kind of wanted to get a flavor of what you could experience, say, in the 1700s or early 1800s. The defining factor of what makes a tonic is quinine. So modern tonics that are, clear and fizzy, those have effectively a highly extracted, powdered quinine chemical. The tree bark that I use contains quinine, kind of like if you were to have powdered caffeine in a pill form versus having a cup of black coffee.
Right.
I wanted to get super high quality cinchona bark, the highest I could find. It all grows around the equator anywhere.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it was used as a treatment for malaria, digestive issues, muscle cramps, all sorts of things.
It tamped malaria
Yeah.
down, just not enough for it to actually be effective.
You have to consume gallons of this stuff.
Yeah.
And there is such a thing as an overdose of quinine.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've had it before. It's very unpleasant. That's how I learned to start wearing a mask when I handle spices, because I was inhaling a ton of it. Where it originates in South America, it's called red cinchona.
It's insanely delicious.
It makes the product, it's where all the color comes from. There's no color added. That's all from the red cinchona bark in South America. I was convinced that would be a deterrent. Someone would say, well, that's the wrong color.
What I love about the color is it's a conversation starter.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, cocktails are all about the conversation. So anything that helps facilitate that is a great thing. You're making your tonic in as traditional a format as you can.
That was the goal. I wanted it to be, because I have such a borderline fetish with handmade products.
Yeah.
The only machine I have is a pump, water pump. That's it.
Yeah.
Even my labor is hand crank.
I mean, I hear this cooking over here. Is there anything, something happened there?
There's nothing in there yet other than water.
For the record, you can't sell this unless this is meeting the most basic and fundamental
Yes, I've been
health.
I had an
institutions,
FDA. I had an FDA inspection 2 months ago.
Yeah. So
Flying colors, by the way.
right. So I only mention that because I think a lot of people are often surprised at the appearance of a thing, but
This will give you a good example of the scale. Like,
Yeah.
I don't do a whole lot at a time. That's if we go too big with it, it's hard to maintain quality control. I feel like doing this like simple 30 gallons at a time. It's like about 500 bottles, which I can bang out in a day or so.
when you talk about making something by hand, I mean this is
Oh, it's literally
small
by hand. Oh yeah.
batch, handmade.
Oh, yeah.
Every bottle touched.
Yeah, I don't even have employees anymore. It's just me. Literally every bottle has my hands all over it. The caps are put on by hand. I got calluses so big on my hands from just capping hundreds and hundreds of bottles.
Yeah.
And it's just basically brewed like tea. My recipe's a little safeguarded, a bit. Mainly my suppliers are safeguarded because the recipe's so dang simple.
Yeah.
A couple hours in the pot, pull them out, do my filtration process, and then I'll add things like sweetener, citric acid, orange peels to get that kind of fresher flavor out of there.
Yeah.
And that's, Bob's your uncle, that's it.
It is totally a winter gin and tonic.
Yeah,
It absolutely has all those warming notes that you just don't think of when you think of a gin and tonic because what you're so used to in so many other gin and tonics is crispness, is brightness, is all that sort of stuff. The first thing you see is that deep, rich color that you're not used to in a gin and tonic, and your palate is just already thinking warmer notes and warmer flavors.
Sure. Conventional tonics, you really only have sweet, sour, and bitter. There's no complexity. Whereas this, There's whole baking spices, there's whole cinchona bark, there's orange peels, so you're getting a bit more of a rounded kind of flavor instead of just being to the point.
For the record, it's a little bit louder in here because this is turned up to warm up, but no, don't turn it down. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, we can bring it down if
It's
you need.
toasty over. This is nice. I dig this. So what do we have in the bags?
So this is the Peruvian cinchona bark. You can see like a little bit of dust kind of pops out of here. That's the stuff you don't want to inhale. This color is where all that color comes from. So this is straight from Peru. Responsible harvesters will actually only strip maybe 1/3 of the tree to get, just enough out here that you can be usable without killing the plant. And then over here, I've got sort of a mix of Ecuadorian cinchona bark, which is also whole. And then I've got, a handful of some other allspice and some other baking spices in there just to give it some of that flavor.
Yeah.
I know a lot of other tonic producers will do that. They'll throw in a lot of extra things, like lemongrass, for example, to give it a really nice flavor, but that's not the flavor I want. I want to taste this.
Yeah.
I worked so damn hard to get this here. This needs to be the star of the show.
When's it going in?
Probably right about now. Yeah, it's early enough, and this is actually, a lot of this is inspired by my old gin making days. Like, this is exactly how we were making gin. I think the best gins are made like this. And before that, I was a beer brewer, so a lot of the equipment I have is from the old beer world. And that's it, man. And she just cooks away.
Tea, anyone?
Before it actually makes any contact with citric acid or anything like that, you can really taste the flavor of the bark as it's coming out, because it's not what you'd expect.
So how long does that take?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fast.
Wow. All right, fantastic. So we'll get to taste the other end too.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So you can dip out a little bit, and you can try it against the tonic as is.
Okay.
Which will help explain why I can't make a diet sugar-free version of this.
Yeah.
You really need the sugar. Just don't overindulge,
Yeah.
A gin and tonic only takes a tablespoon of tonic syrup for the whole drink. So
Where does this product get sold mostly? Does this go into bars, or do you sell it directly to the
it's
public?
probably 75% retail,
Yeah.
25% on premise.
That being the case, 2020, people drank like fish.
One thing that a lot of the, we'll call it gullible people were led to believe was that quinine was a cure for a little while. I didn't know about that shit because I don't tune into any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my orders went through the roof. I mean, people in Georgia are ordering gallons and stuff. And I was like, well, who wrote about this? This is great little bump in business. This is great. Not knowing that that people were thinking they were buying some sort of medicine. So I started putting slips in all the boxes saying, this is not medicine. No, it's fine. There we go. It just needs to roll for a good 45 and we're good to go.
Sweet. There are 2 cocktails on the menu at Waypoint.
I was about to look for where I have any tonic. Here's one.
There are 2 cocktails on. Where will we ever find tonic in this place? Is that ready to go already?
No, but you'll get the idea of what I mean by the flavor before it's actually kind of rounded out. So it'll darken a little bit as it's cooking in there. So it's only been in there for maybe 20. You'll get the idea of what I mean by it needs more things.
It needs sugar.
Keep in mind the bitterness comes out a little bit more as it's cooking in there and actually rested overnight.
A lot
It will
more
pick up.
steeping to be done with that.
The sugar and citrus unlocks a lot of that.
And that's a thing I think a lot of people don't get about the chemistry of cocktail making is how often an ingredient that you put into a drink is not actually a flavor that you're looking for. What
Yeah.
you're looking for is its effect on the other ingredients in the drink.
Well, you want to try just a couple gin and tonics?
I would love to.
All right, I don't see why not. I do a straight 1 to 2 to 4 ratio. 1 part tonic, and that's really all you need. I'll do 2 parts gin over here. That's another bartender thing in me. I know I could use the other side, but then it'd be dripping syrup everywhere, man.
I don't know any bartender that I truly respect that doesn't have an immaculate bar station.
Normally I would use a club soda. I don't have any on hand right now. Although mineral waters, seltzer waters, they all work.
Yeah.
Even serve the drinks, I tend to clean the tins.
Yeah, just get it.
A wedge of orange for you.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
That's that's really good.
That's a happy way to start your Thursday lunch. Can we sip the gin?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I got some glasses. I mean, no disrespect to anybody out here in this gin world, because I think everyone should make a product that they can get behind it, especially when you're cutting your own course. I mean, good grace.
Yeah.
However, I think this gin is far more, like I was saying, better suited for a long drink than, say, a martini. I think I'm curious to see how you feel about it. And it's more oily than most, like imported gins. A little more weight, almost viscous, more spice.
I mean, you're using all the words that are. No, I mean. Yes.
I am in your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I make my G&Ts with Bradley's, I tend to use more, but then I use a higher proof gin to stand up against the added sweetness, so that gin still pops through, and you get all the richness of the syrup.
One of the original creators of Copworks Distillery, his name's Micah, he would use significantly less of the syrup. He would get maybe 20 drinks out of a bottle.
Right.
Whereas if you follow the recipe to the T, you get around 10 or 11 drinks out of the bottle. He get almost 20, whereas I'm getting maybe 6.
Both of you were favoring your own
Exactly.
product.
You don't have to follow the recipe. You know? And that's one of the things I liked about this type of package. It was originally done this way for historical simplicity.
It's got a great apothecary look to it.
It's a high, we call it value density, so I can ship it for a lot less money.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Because this is enough for 11 drinks. So the comparable amount of tonic water in cans would be almost a 6-pack or more. Plus, like you were saying, changing that ratio to fit your own palate, I think, is something I didn't expect to be such an important quality of it.
There's so much drinking to do when we get home. Oh my God.
I'm just whirlpooling it. That way, when I go to filter, as you whirlpool it, all the sediment will form a neat little pile right in the middle.
Am I recording? Yeah. Yes, I am. Okay.
That's been steeping for about 45 minutes at boiling temperature, so you're getting a lot more flavor out. But it has a drying effect on the palate a bit. Balancing that bitter with sugar is so important.
Yeah. Honestly, taking a sip of this, I feel like I've just lost 10% of the water in my body.
So I'm getting dry just after tasting
Yeah,
that.
no, it's remarkable. This makes no sense, but I feel like I've drunk a sponge.
Yeah.
Like I've had a sip of this and there's nothing in me anymore.
Cool.
We were kind of ground zero on the West Coast for the cocktail scene. So wanted to bartend in the way with which we'd learned from our mentor, this guy named Murray Stenson. I've never seen anyone do the job to the level that he did it, and I've been looking for my whole career. As a cocktail lounge, it'll be 24 years this January. It was always really focused around hospitality first, and that's what made the cocktails taste better. There's definitely longevity in being kind and decent to people. That doesn't get old. I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd have someone else run the place and I'd just bartend. It's sort of addictive, right? If you can be a good host and start a party, it's everything.
Hey, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And even better, also comment to let me know where I should go next, who I should talk to, the places I should see, and things that I should do. This is a series that we are trying to get some longevity for, and the best way for us to get traction is your engagement. So like, subscribe, share, comment, and we will see you soon. Thanks very much.